Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look back at the 2022 Breeders' Cup at Keeneland. In this video, we'll focus on the Juvenile Fillies won by a very professional horse named Wonder Wheel. We're going to break from the gate. Wonder Wheel is the number 5. Keep in mind that Wonder Wheel won her prior start, the Alcibiades, on the lead. In this race, she's going to come from 11th.
Yeah, going to have to take back here because they're going pretty fast here, Dan. The first part of this race, first time through the stretch, around this first turn, they're moving right along up front. This pace is pretty fast early. They will moderate things a little bit up the backstretch. But if you can find, Wonder Wheel, and she's sort of towards the back there in the red or maroonish silks towards the inside, she's always traveling strongly in here. She's always going to stay towards the inside. And the only question around the final turn is, will she get room?
She shows a lot of agility and professionalism to maneuver her way down towards the rail and eventually get out. Meanwhile, Leave No Trace, this pace was fast, as Mike mentioned. She is right up close to Grand Love, who set the pace, and she's going to be hanging around all the way down to the wire. I think she deserves extra credit.
Yeah, she runs another good race here because you're right. She was right up close from the start here. Again, the pace did moderate a little bit up the backstretch. You can see the pack tightening up here around the second turn, but Leave No Trace was up close when they were going fast. She's still up close at this point. She will take over the lead as they come into the stretch in this race, and she just runs another good racer. I mean, she's only going evenly at the end of this race, and you could sort of see that she wasn't going to hold on, but man, she was underrated on the way in, and she's runs another good one.
All credit to Tyler for riding Wonder Wheel. Didn't panic while down inside and behind horses on the second turn. Made a slick move along the inside to get into condition. Got to the outside, and that's all she wrote. It was a great ride. Wonder Wheel really ran in this race. It was a very impressive performance for her to win at 6-1. She nails down 2-year-old filly championship honors based on this win and her win in the Alcibiades. Let's talk a little bit about Raging Sea, who finished behind Wonder Wheel in the Alcibiades and again didn't have the best trip.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could give her a little bit of an excuse as far as the trip goes. I didn't think it was a terrible one, Dan. She did break, though, from the far outside gate. After that, I kind of felt like everything, for the most part, worked out. I'm not saying she got a perfect trip. She got a little bit shuffled a little bit around the second turn, as did Wonder Wheel. They sort of got similar trips. I thought she was behind Wonder Wheel. After they both got shuffled a little bit, Pratt did everything right. He followed Wonder Wheel into the stretch, got this horse into the clear, and she raced on. I thought gamely, if evenly, and was third best in here, but she ran fine.
You could argue the two favorites were disappointing, although I think that Chop Chop might have had a little bit of an excuse. She was very, very wide for most of the running here. It looked like she never really had an opportunity to settle. That being said, she also didn't fire.
She didn't run well in here. I'll give her a total pass for this race. I don't know what the plan was coming in, and obviously with a fast pace, you feel like that would maybe help Chop Chop in here. It obviously didn't. I mean, she was in the parking lot through most of this race. I can't even imagine what Joel Rosario was thinking in here.
And Tell Me No Lies, who came into this race, the best filly from Southern California. She wasn't as wide as Chop Chop, but she lost ground throughout as well.
That's true. She didn't get a great trip in her own right. She was never a real factor in this race, but maybe she deserves another.
Chocolate Gelato, who came into this race off a victory in the Frisette at Aqueduct, just didn't really look very comfortable at all in this race, Mike. She was in a pretty decent spot. I know the pace was fast, but there was just nothing there when Arad asked her for a run on the second turn.
Yeah, this was a very poor performance because her trip wasn't nearly as difficult as some of the others in here. 3 wide, basically around the track, but right up close. Didn't lose a ton of ground. Was in contention as they came around the final turn and came up completely empty, almost like the distance was way too far for her.
Atomically was taking a big step up in class in her first race for Pletcher. I wonder if it was maybe a little bit too much for her. I don't think she ran badly in here. I'd like to give her another chance in her 3-year-old campaign, probably down at Gulfstream for Todd, where he excels.
Yeah, and she likes it down there too. We'll see. This was a pretty big test for her, a significant step up in class in her first start for Pletcher. And to be honest, Dan, she just really wasn't up for it. I thought all in all, Saez had her in a great spot, and she just wasn't close to good enough.
You know, my girl has shown some flashes up in New York, and she was close to this very fast pace. Can you give her at least a little bit of an excuse for that? The closing punch just wasn't there. Of course, Leave No Trace was able to outfinish her. She was also up close, but I think You're My Girl still retains some potential.
Yeah, absolutely. She's so lightly raced. This was only her third career start. And yeah, she was, up close to the pace. I thought overall in a pretty good spot, sort of able to save ground, covered up, and didn't really fire hard through the stretch. But it's not like she totally gave it up either. She definitely deserves another race or two.
Sabra Tough came with a pretty strong rally from the back of the pack to finish fourth, just couldn't get early position, and maybe that hurt her. She certainly exceeded expectations.
She did. Listen, she was a big long shot in here. That's sort of been her running style anyway. She doesn't have a lot of speed. They like to sort of take her back and let her make one run, and it almost worked for her here. She ran well.
Let's take a look at Wonder Wheel. The likely Eclipse Award winner for 2022 is Best 2-Year-Old Filly, trained by Mark Casse, Tyler Gaffalione aboard. Really nicely bred daughter of Into Mischief. Mike and I remember Wonder Gal from her days in New York, but Wonder Wheel, she's done it at 5.5. She's done it at 1.116, never off the board from 5 lifetime starts, and she really seems to like Keeneland, but she's professional and she's versatile. Only an 83 Beyer speed figure for this race. I'm curious to see if she can continue to show improvement, because she'll have to if she's going to be a true Kentucky Oaks contender. Some of these other lightly raced, late developing fillies, they're going to eventually catch up to her.
That's obviously all those things are true. We'll see if Wonder Wheel can go on. I find it pretty hard to knock what she's done as a 2-year-old, Dan. And this Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies win. It was a pretty pleasing performance. I thought she did everything right in here. She was always there for Tyler Gaffalione when he needed her, and she won easily.
She certainly did win easily, and she paid a pretty square price for those that believed off the Alcibiades. Taking a look at the prices for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, Wonder Wheel returned $15 to win. She was the 4th choice in the betting. Leave No Trace, a really nice performance, up close to a fast pace, fighting it out to the finish. Raging Sea, tough outside post position, maybe not the cleanest trip. I'm curious to see what she does next year for trainer Chad Brown. It was 5, 13, 14, and it was Wonder Wheel's world in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.